Yes, hello guys, welcome to another video today. A lot of you guys think writing the FIFA Agent exam is just luck, but I'll tell you guys it's not luck. It's about principles, structures, and how to um, think of a smart way in writing the exam and pass. Because the exam is quite lengthy. I mean, the book of the exam that you study, the study material is quite lengthy. So if you don't have a structural approach, you're not going to pass the exam. So today, I'm going to be giving you also another structural approach on how you approach the exam with the time coming up, because the exam is coming up on the 18th of June. So stick together and take a pen and paper so that you can help yourself also, or you can gain a little bit of percentage that's going to advance your chances in passing the exam. You see, as I always tell people, this exam is quite tricky exam, and it's an exam that it's going to help you in future if you pass the exam. That's the first thing. Let's be clear here. So I'll give an example. If you pass the exam, you can sign players, sell to football clubs, connect with football clubs professionally, and also many people respect you because you are a professional. You are professional. You act like an agent, and you are a representative of a football player. So that's it. Yeah. So I cannot motivate you more than saying that. So it's quite important for you to pass the exam because you already didn't know what you want to do with your license. Before I had to pass this exam, I had to work hard a lot to be able to reach in this place that I'm talking to you guys. So it's quite very important for you to be able to make this sacrifice for yourself so that you can pass the exam. When you pass the exam, it's going to only be your own, let me say, benefit. So we're going to go into some topics what it can help you pass the exam so that you can look forward on how to apply these things. So today I would like to look at also a topic like the international transfer of minor. But before we go into minor transfers, because this is under the RSTP, so anything talking about transfers like international transfer of minor is under RSTPs. So for those who are not new here, if I call it RSTP, is the regulation on status of transfer of players. So that's it. But anyways, so just a quick notice on what the exam is going to contain. It's a 60-minute exam. The FIFA exam is a 60-minute exam. You require a 75% pass rate, and if you want to really make it in this exam, you have to know that 3 minutes is the maximum time you can spend on a question because you have 20 questions. And as I also said, so the exam also key focus areas, I will emphasize you read a lot the FFAR, which is the FIFA Football Agent Regulation, which is about 40% of the exam comes on that. The RSTP, which is about 30% of the exam comes on that. Then you can start focusing on getting also how the table of content to know how the disciplinary code works, or read the table of content of the disciplinary codes and also try to glance through it. Child safeguard and FIFA tribunal, FIFA tribunal, a lot of all those other topics. Yes, just glance, have a feel of it by going through the table of content. As I said, the best thing to have to know a lot of this table of content is you go to the FIFA study material, print all the table of content, and hold it when you're sitting on the sofa. You can just sit and say, okay, you look, what's the table of content of this? You look. Yes, so that you memorize it gradually. There you can always know that, for example, if a question come on the RSTP, you know that RSTP starts from where? Page 150 to page 250. And then you just go straight to that page. You look at the table of content. You see that the question, what it's talking about. If it's about transfers, you just go as quick as possible. You say, okay, transfer. What page number? You go straight to that page number and look at it and answer it at the book. So this is one of the methods also, and there are plenty of other methods. So it's quite important that you know also the pages. That's why I'm saying that you have to glance through it. Like when I was writing the exam, I want to give you guys firsthand things here, what I did and this is what I've been helping also teaching most of those guys. I've been giving them extra classes. So when I was writing the exam, first thing I made sure I knew the pages of all. Like let's give an example. I knew where FIFA status starts,
I knew it started from the status. It start from 1 to 47. I knew that I had to know to page 47. Then I knew that the RSTP, where does it start? It starts from page 150, probably to 250, something like that. Where I knew that FIFA Football Agent Regulation, where does it start? Does it start from 283 or to 321? So you know where also FIFA Clearinghouse starts. Does it start from 321 to some another page? So all these things you gain idea of where the page starts and when the page ends, so that when they're giving a topic, you know that this thing is on that FIFA Clearinghouse. I go from page 250 something. For example, I'm giving an example. So these are how you try to structure the studying approach first. So that said, that's very important. So when you have this approach, and then now you also start looking like, okay, when you already have the idea, you start now looking like, okay, the first thing I'm going to do here is to study the RSTP and also the FFAR, and then to answer some questions on that. So when you're studying, you're also answering questions using this method that I've been giving you guys on. So, but again, as I said, I'm going to touch on a little bit today's topic on the international transfer of involving minor in the RSTP. This is on the RSTP transfer. So this is also a topic that usually comes. So I'm just going to explain this. Give someone a few things. Then we're going to answer past questions on it. I'm just going to give past questions on. We're just going to look few questions and then we go. So normally, this is a topic, let me say, when we talk of transfer involving minors, there are exceptional cases of this that, let's take, for example, one, for a transfer to involve a minor, the parents must move for reason none other than football. So I'll give an example. If my son was a minor and he's living in Africa, and I have to travel to, and let's say he wants to go to the UK to play football, and it's a minor, I cannot move on reason based on football. I'll move on reason based, not based. So I'll have to look for a job there to be able to go based on I'm going there for a job. Then I can support my son. That's the way I can move. If not, that transfer doesn't go through. If not, I have to wait to be 18. So those are the exceptional cases. Those are the how you have to handle the rules with FIFA, because the rules are quite complicated. Then the next thing, then second is for a minor to also play. The next thing will be in Europe, it's quite different from Africa or other continents. You have to be 18 to be able to move here. But what we are saying here is these are exceptional cases that can happen for your child to move to, let's say, move to play football. So, but in Europe, they have the advantage of that kids can sign professional contract between 16 to 18 years. Yeah. So that's normal for Europeans that, yes, you can sign from 16 years. So that's the rules. And also is the cross-border residential rule. Let's say you have to live 50 kilometers away from another border. The maximum distance that you can, let's say, a kid can live from home, or a minor can live from his own home in his country to go and maybe play if the team is in another country, which is the border country. Let's take, for example, if I was living in Finland and Finland is sharing boundary with Russia, and I have a team in Russia, that distance will be maximum 100 kilometers for the two countries for me to be able to play the and it's okay. Although I still need to do some groundwork, like contact the associations, the Association of Russia, also talking with the Association of FIFA for me to go and play there as a minor. So then the next one also for a kid to be able to move, for a minor, not kid, a minor to be able to move to play is under humanitarian refugee grounds. So let me say if the minor moved, if there was war in his country, he could move also, then he can play football. That was under refugee ground. Yeah, that's normal because that's like international protection. That is allowed. Okay. Then another next one that a minor can also move is like academic exchange, but this has to be just like for 1 year, and you can register. It's just for 1 year, and you can already register the kid or the minor, not the kid. I keep calling the name kid. You can register the minor. You can register only in an amateur club, so it has to only be an amateur club before the minor is registered. So those are one of the things. These are the things that you have to know, and all all minors attending any academy must be reported to the National Association. So the minors, if you're attending academy, it has to be reported also to the National Association. Yeah. So these are also part of the rules, but that exception that if you want to take your son or with a daughter with a minor to play in another country, these are the things that you have to be considering. International transfer involving minors. So let's look at questions, and I'm going to explain. Let's just look at some questions here, and I'm going to explain it. So you will have some few questions, or let's say 20 questions that FIFA that can come. Then we answer it. So the first question is, at what age are international transfer of players generally allowed without restriction? So this, you already know that without restriction, international transfer should be at what age in January? So we all know it's 18 years. You have to be 18 for an international transfer to happen without any restriction. Because we know FIFA prohibits international transfer of players under the age of 18, except with specific reason that I just named above, like the border rule, all those ones that I spoke at the beginning of the video. So that is quite clear. And question 2 is, which of the following is not an exception allowing an international transfer of a minor under 18? So there's one thing I'll say here. Most questions, actually, if you don't know how to interpret question or really understand the question, you're going to fail, because it's quite, if you read the question and don't interpret it well, you're going to pick a wrong answer. So this question is, which of the following is not an exception allowing an international transfer of a minor under 18? So which is not an exception? So question A, parents move to another country for non-footballing reasons. So it's not that. Okay, let's keep going. B, transfer within the EU or EEA for players aged 16 and 18. C, players move for academic reasons temporarily. And D, player joins a professional club on a trial for 2 months. So if you understood the question well, you know that the answer is D, because the question was, which of the following is not an exception allowing international transfer of minor under 18? So the other ones I read are already exception, because parents, the exception for players for an international transfer to happen with minor are parents move to another country for reasons not related to football. Transfer in the European region can happen between 16 to 18, which is correct, which are exceptions. Player moves to academic reasons temporarily, yes, which is what I also explained at the beginning. So the only last answer is player joins a professional club on a trial for 2 months. So this is not correct. So an explanation for this is trials are regulated separately and do not qualify as a basis for a transfer. So you have to know that. But anyway, let's go to question 3. What is the maximum distance a minor can live from a border to qualify under the border proximity? So this is good. As we spoke already, I spoke about the border. So what is the maximum, or what is the distance a minor can live? So A, 25 kilometers, B, 75 kilometers, C, 50 kilometers, and D, 150 kilometers. So the answer is, if you have been reading also the book, you know it's 50 kilometers. The explanation for this one is the minor and the club must each be within 50 kilometers, as I explained. So let's say the minor is here living in this country, and let's say the club is 50 kilometers, but the maximum altogether can be like 100 kilometers, but the minor and the club must be between 50 kilometers each. So because the total, as I said, the total distance between home and club must not exceed 100 kilometers. Let's just put it that way. It's much easier for you. Yeah. So your total distance for you to move and play into a border club in a neighboring country or a border club cannot exceed 100 kilometers. So the next is, if a minor flies if a minor flees their country for humanitarian reason and is recognized as a refugee, which type of club can he register with? So if a minor flies, let me say, leaves and is registers with another club, goes to another country that he has gone for humanitarian protection, which kind of club can he register with? The answer to this is he can only register. Let me give you the option. A, they say only professional clubs. B, only clubs in the new country's capital. C, no club until they are 18. So the answer is to this one is A, any club, professional or amateur, because the question is if a minor flees their country for humanitarian reason and is recognized as a refugee. This question is quite tricky because when you're recognized as a refugee, it means you're already having. It's different from being an asylum seeker. A refugee is you already have. Let me say you're recognized as a refugee, which means you're living in another person's country that you have sought an asylum and you have been given refugee status. So this is quite something that maybe most of you guys won't understand. Yeah, but you have been given refugee status. So which means you have already been accepted in that country as a refugee. So now you are living in that country. So I hope I explained that to very well. So the next question is a minor asylum seeker not formally recognized as a refugee can be registered only with which type of club? A professional club. B, a youth club. C, a purely amateur club. The answer is C, a purely amateur club. So the question that we just answered above with this one, if you read this one, they say an asylum seeker. An asylum seeker is someone seeking for help. He hasn't been granted refuge yet. He's still seeking. They still need to grant him. Whereas the other one was he's a refugee and he's recognized as a refugee, which means he has been granted refugee status. You understand? You have to. So let's give an example. You seek for an asylum, and when it's approved, you are granted the asylum. You are granted it. But if it's not approved, then you are not granted. Then this is I don't know if I'm explaining. So I'm explaining. I think probably most of you guys you might not understand this well because probably you haven't traveled a lot, but this is the situation that happens a lot for most of the people who travel. Because when you move to another person's country, let me say for humanitarian help, if you're seeking for help, you're an asylum seeker. When you're granted, now you're granted this in a status as a refugee. So you're being granted asylum as a refugee in that country, so you can live into that country based on the protection. So anyways, let's move ahead. We have more things to answer questions. So which of the following is a requirement for clubs registering European EU minors age 16 to 18? So which of the following, I repeat again, is a requirement for club registering EU minors age 16 to 18? So which of this is a requirement? A, free flights home each month. Okay, interesting. B, weekly allowance for the club, okay, given to the minor. And C, academic/vocational educational opportunity. D, guaranteed pro contract. So I think most of you guys, if you have been reading, so you know that the answer is academic/vocational education. And the explanation for this is the club must ensure academic and vocational training in addition to football education for minors when you're registering them. Okay, so that's it. And 7 is what age must a minor be before the player's status chamber must approve their international transfer? So what age must a minor be before the player's status chamber must approve their international transfer? A, any age. B, over 18. C, at least 10 years old. D, under 10. So again, the explanation for this is transfer involving minors aged 10 years or older must be approved by the FIFA Status Chamber. This is in Article 19, number 4. So again, so the next one, let's look at when does a national first registration of a minor require FIFA approval? Again, I repeat the question: when does a national first registration of a minor require FIFA approval? Some water, oh my tea. I don't know if it's quite hot. I would have loved to do this online. That you guys are answering with me, but I think most of you guys, you are never aware when I'm online sometimes. But I would have loved to do these questions. I'm going to try to also put a notice so that I can have more of you guys online, so that when I'm doing this, if you are online, we answer this together. It's more fun then, so because you can ask me a question and I can respond. Ooh, quite still hot. Okay, but I'm trying to drink lemon tea so that the lemon. I love it, especially because probably after my daily activities, when I come back home, a little bit maybe exhausted because I'm training kids. When you train kids, you come back home from doing your daily task, like trying to connect with clubs, talk to clubs here and there, booking appointments, meetings. So when I'm now home, which is about 10 o'clock, it's always nice for me to have this lemon tea. Then before maybe going live, then before going to bed, then the next day do other activities, the same thing continue. But anyways, let's continue with the questions. So when does a national first, the question was question 8. When does a national first registration of a minor require FIFA approval? I think we answered this. Did we answer this? FIFA approval? No, we didn't. So when does a national first registration of a minor require FIFA approval? A, always. B, when the player has never been registered and is not a national and hasn't lived there for 5 years. C, when the player is over 18, and D, never. So the answer will be B, when the player has never been registered and is not a national and hasn't lived there for 5 years. So he hasn't lived in that country for 5 years and he's not a national of that country. So what is this? So explanation: the first registration requires FIFA approval always. So if the player is a foreign national and hasn't lived for 5 years in that country, it always requires FIFA's approval. Okay, so that's the explanation of that. So what does a limited minor exemption apply to? What does a limited minor exemption apply to? A, all pro clubs in Europe. B, clubs in war zone. And C, amateur minor players in purely amateur clubs. D, any minor on student visa. So the answer will be C, amateur minor players in purely amateur clubs. So explanation of this is limited minor explanation association to skip FIFA approval under limited conditions for amateur minors joining other clubs. I don't know how I can give you guys this in details, but again, this we're going to go a little bit more faster. But you see under the most of this under the RSTP. So if you go under transfers of minors, you're going to find all these questions. So if you want to, you can still play back this video and then try to see the way I answer these questions and go and check the answers on the transfer involving minors. Minor. That's if you're using the book, the August version, the RSTP is on that is page 152, if I'm not mistaken, 252, something like that. Yeah. So I think you can go through the table of content from there, then find international transfer involving minor. So then you start listening to these questions that I've read. You try to search also the answers there. This can help you a lot. So okay, who is responsible for verifying exceptions when a minor is under 10? Again, I repeat the question: who is responsible for verifying exceptions when a minor is under 10? The minor's parent, A. B. The registering association. C. The club security secretary. Third, the FIFA Football Tribunal. So of course, this is quite maybe straightforward. The registering association. Yes, I think this one is a little bit clear for you guys to see. So the explanation for under 10 players, the association must ensure the players fit within one of the standard exceptions, or one of the started exception. What duty does a club owe to a minor after registration? So let's take, for example, after a minor register, what duty does the club owe? Yeah. A. Sign them to a 5 years contract. Does the club owe that one? We all know that is not correct. The club doesn't owe you to sign your 5 years. So that answer is already wrong. So we go B. Guarantee national team appearance. Again, a club doesn't owe you when you register them to guarantee you that they're going to make you to sign, to guarantee you that you're going to play for your national team. So this is we are using the principle of elimination here. D. None. There are no D. I mean, no. Is it C? There are no minors. There are minors. No. And the last one, D, you have protect from abuse and ensure education. So the answer is protect from abuse and ensure education. So all the other answers are wrong. The answer is protect from abuse. So when you register with the club as a minor, the club guarantees to protect you from abuse and ensure education. So those are the first things. Okay, what must clubs with academics be regarding? What must clubs with academics do regarding minors? So what must clubs do? Okay, A, only register players above 18, which is wrong. B, report all minors registered or not to the association. Good, correct. C, let's say hide foreign minors for privacy. No, that is wrong. That's illegal. D, send minors to FIFA directly. No. So the answer will be B. Report all minors registered or not registered to the association, to your association. So if you're living in UK, you inform the UK as the FA, the Football Association of UK in UK there. So that's just an example. Okay, let's go to the next one. 13. What must academics do when collaborating with a club? So for academics to collaborate with a club, what must they do? Offer free housing. No, that is not correct. B, report their minors to the local association. Yes, that is correct also, because that's one of the correct answers that we already spoke about that one up. Yes, so report. C, apply for a FIFA trial permit. No. D, guarantee playing time. No. So the answer will be B. Report their minors to the local association. Again, these ones are a little bit so straightforward because it's the first time that I'm doing this with you guys. So with next questions I'll be doing another day, we'll try to do more complicated situations. So I'm just trying to like warm you up to see how the things come. So, but because I want to do these few questions regularly now, so that because the exam is coming up, so that you can get one of few tips on how to handle the exam. Yeah. Again, I hope you when you watch this video, it helps you, because I was most of you guys have been on my inbox saying that, okay, let me try to do this for you guys. So I'm trying to do this so that you guys can get a little bit of knowledge on this, yes, before going to write the exam, if I may say. But of course, I'm proud of this because it also keeps my brain fresh. The more I revise this thing, it keeps my brain fresh when I'm meeting sporting directors of football clubs, especially, which is very important. So you tend to talk about these things naturally because you have them in your brain. So even without you guys telling me, also it's also helping me because it's always nice for me knowing the laws, rules, and regulations just by doing a video, speaking on camera, if it can help someone. But also it helps me that when I move to speak to sporting directors, I say it's quite helpful because the things are all in my head and they see you like very educated and learned, that they ask for your advice regularly. And yeah, from there you build network and connection. So let's move on. What is one of the minimum data fields required in the player registration? Well, I think A, there's a parent religion. B, sibling's name. No. C, number of goals scored. D, nationality. It should be nationality, of course. Explanation, of course, association must keep data such as nationality, date of birth, and agent when they're registering a player. Those ones are normal things that the association must register when they're doing registration of a player. Okay, next question number 15. How long can a student player on an academic exchange be registered for? I think this you should know because this question always tend to come sometimes. Yeah. How long can a student player on an academic exchange be registered for? So let's take, if you go for an exchange program abroad and you happen to play with a team, how long can you be registered for that team? Yeah. A, unlimited, which is no, you cannot be registered unlimited. B, this is just involving minor. So all these questions here are involving minor, international